Love that connection interruption. Love it. Okay. Uh, um, hang on, or tell your followers. Yeah. So, the fun thing about internet connection is when the entire world out in Hawaii is on it at the same time doing homeschooling, it doesn't like to keep you connected. Sorry, guys. Um, Technical difficulties. Anyway, going back into what we just did before we so rudely interrupted. I'm gonna go ahead and get another. With this guy. Oh, it's got that a little bit. There we go. So again, going back into this stuff is mush it or paint it on, and just kind of rub it in there with your finger. And then you can get it as dirty or messy as you want, or add as much depth as you want without overdoing it. I feel like gray washes or washes a lot of the times will actually overdo or underdo all your detail. So there's that. It probably does have a time limit. I don't even know how long I've been on this thing, but it might have been that. I do know the connection sucks though. I've been fighting that all day. Can't even Netflix without being stuck. The buffer life. So we got this one real nice. So that's damaged. This one we'll just add. Oops, that's a wash. Add a little bit more paint and dirtiness to this guy. Rub it into your hand, your finger. When you do armor plates, it's the same exact method. I just use the whole hand rather than just a finger. So that way you get in there real good. Get in there, get all in the cracks and crevices. Yeah, see? Oh, fancy kind, boo. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good so far. I mean, I will, like I said, I'll go and I'll make this guy a little bit thicker. Probably this as well. It's a little too thin right there. Let's see. Do that right now, actually. Let's go ahead and do that real quick, like maybe. I don't know. Should I leave the top one? Nah, I'll make it bigger. I like the blue. I really do like this blue. I use it on a lot of stuff if you haven't noticed. Or if you guys pay attention to what I'm doing most of the time. I don't blame you if you don't pay attention to what I do most of the time, because it's boring. You do this. You can only do so much stuff before it's like, okay, this is the same shit over and over and over and over and over. But I definitely think that this needs a little bit more of a thick spot to it. Oh, hello, friend. Stompy stompers. Like that. I think, yeah, that definitely needs a little bit more of a little bit more blue in there. So we'll go ahead and be lazy about it. We're not going to mask the whole thing off. Again, I'm just going to hold the paper towel on there and hope and pray for the best. Like a weird, did I get that right? Where is it? Nah, that should be enough. Good enough. And another good thing about acrylic paint is it's easy to come off of stuff, so you don't have to worry about the overspray too much. And we'll do our edging. So I just, when I do edging, I just kind of overshoot a lot and just have the mist hit the edge a bit. So that way it just has like a little darker tone to it. Yeah, that looks better. It's a little thicker, a little easier to see. And when I thicken up this one too, it'll be a lot easier to see. And same thing as before, we'll do a little tape damage to it, so that way it's not too perfect. Get a little edge. Since it's got a really nice dark edge on there, we'll just take that down a peg. Because this would be where the wear marks are. Because you always want to, I always envision that these things, yes, they're made to look like something, but they're also objects. And the objects are still going to be beat up and worn in certain areas, no matter what the paint job is. So the edges are always going to be edged, because they're always going to have more bumping and rubbing and stuff on there. So I always want to give edge damage. Keep things lively. Like that. So, and I exposed our silver. Again, it's really hard to see against the white contrast, but in photos and stuff you will be able to see that there's a nice silver damage and pick marks out throughout this whole thing now. Yeah, and then obviously there's going to be all the buttons are black, and there's going to be black, so that's why I kind of stayed away from the orange. However, I really still want to do an orange one, and I probably will, just because I get bored really quick, and since this was just a spare junk controller, it's probably going to get the newer controller is probably going to get the special treatment. I didn't like this. This is, okay, you see, this is what I was talking about edging wise. So this is a straight clean tape edge versus the torn tape edge, and this does not look good. I like the tear and the blended out a lot better than the straight, because with the tape it's going to look more natural, especially when it's weathered out. It's going to look better with a rugged edge rather than a straight line edge. So I want to make sure that the tape marks that we're doing got a little fuzzy edge on them. If this makes sense. Sorry if it doesn't. I'm all over the place today. And again, doing curves, if you don't want to do the millions of layers of tape like I do, just use masking fluid. But if you don't care and you like doing millions of layers of tape on things, then by all means, do that. This is going to cover up some of our damage, but that's fine. I don't care. Questions, comments, concerns? Anyone? Feel like we Bob Ross this enough? Should we call it quits after this? You tell me. Trying to think of any other little tips and stuff that I do that might be helpful or useful to others. I can't think off the top of my head. right now of anything that might be missing out or leaving out. So if you guys have questions or anything, definitely ask, because I have no problem sharing any info that I can. What's up, Drip Boys? Yeah, I'm a big fan of sharing. So, because, you know, sharing is caring, right? Is that how that goes? Yes, I definitely agree with that. And there are several parts of helmets that I've done that have that layered look, that it's been painted multiple times before, and I love that. It's more of a story. Like, it gives you that sense of wonder. I definitely agree to that, especially on helmets, because you don't know how crazy or how long that helmet's been in a family or a clan or passed down, or whatever. It's all up to interpretation and storytelling. I love it. I love it so much. So I definitely, the more layers you do, the more stuff you play with, the more intricate you get with things, the better, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm going to get messy here again, because I didn't do my edge here. I forgot. So I am not going to cut tape. I'm just going to put my thumb on it. Because it is what it is. And then over again. Okay, so I got that, but oversprayed on here. And let's take it off. And add some black over it, and it'll be fine. Not worried. Again, I'm being super sloppy with this because I'm hungry. That's starting to look like something. And then we can go over, where's our paintbrush? And since it's fresh paint still, it's going to absorb this black really, really well. Darken that up. Wabangi. Damn. Does Montana Gold have similar cans for less frequently used colors if I am unsure of what shade I need? I think they're all the same size. I don't think they have a smaller set. However, I'm not sure. I will say that these colors, the caps, are perfect. They show true colors, and that's what I really, really like, again, about Montana Gold, is whatever you see on this cap, that's the color it's going to be. Like, after it's dried, this is it. I know there's a lot of paints out there that'll have like a weird variance or a shade that's not right or whatever it is. That is not the case with Montana Gold. They pretty much exact what the can top is. That's what you're getting out of it, and that's that. See, I'm just gonna scrape some of this off to add more damage, plus get rid of that overspray. Dink. You can do that with a couple spots. Bink, bink. So usually what I do when I'm looking to paint a helmet, like the Ahsoka helmet, for instance. The Ahsoka helmet, I had a picture on my cell phone of the Ahsoka Tano color scheme. So I just took that in, and I bought a bunch of colors because I just wanted to make sure I had the right one. So I bought almost every shade of color, and the cool thing that I found is that because it's an animated series and the color variations vary kind of slightly and subtly from different time to time, like the top of this helmet was a weird off color that they didn't have. So what I did is I sprayed the base. So this color and this color are actually the same exact color. I just oversprayed with a darker orange to get this. So I painted, this top and this are the same two colors. But what I used a darker color orange and just did a quick mist overspray over the front of it while this was all masked off, and it gave the right color that I needed. So that's kind of a tip that I say if you're not sure, if the color doesn't look exactly like you want it to, you can mist other colors over the top of it to kind of give a blend. It's almost like blending paint when you're painting. It will take and blend with you, just like how these did, the darker over the lighter tones, and it has a nice color variance. It doesn't just stay or blob or something. It actually blends, so that's pretty good. The shade of blue I want for mine is still undecided. What shade of blue? Do you have something that you're trying to paint in mind is color-wise? Because if you have a color idea in your head that you might want to use, I probably have it if it's in Montana, and I can show you what that looks like on a part. I can take a picture of it, send it to you, of what that's actually going to look like, and you can kind of judge for yourself on whether or not that's the color you want to go with, if that helps. I don't know if that helps, but if that makes life easier on you, I can definitely do that for you. I have no problem with that, if I have the color. If not, I'll probably be getting the color anyway, because I'm kind of a color collector. Those who know me in real life know that I have a ridiculous amount of paints and colors for all things in life. So yes, so we'll go ahead. I'm going to tape off this other section, and we'll paint this backside so you can kind of see how it's gonna flow together with some drawing-ish. How's it going? If you guys want some cool art and some cool stuff, go check out that page. Some drawing-ish is awesome. I appreciate the art that's coming out of there, just so everybody knows. A dusty or a light blue, something more vibrant or saturated. So when it comes down to color choosing, I always go with, God, it's kind of a personal preference, but when I do color combinations and stuff like, I always try and do a simulated look. I actually use an iPad Pro for my work in real life, and there's a program on there called what is it called? Hold on. Procreate. I mean, you can use other programs, but Procreate and stuff like that, what you do is it's just like if you were going to paint a house or something. You go to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, and they have the multiple different color samples. What I would do is go grab the samples of color that you're thinking about and put them next to each other. Check them out, see how they blend, see how it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And that's what I do with a lot of stuff. That before I actually do any sort of paint, I'll go and I'll do the color splotch. I have just that on my IG page. Looks pretty rad. You're making a soap inspired controller, at least that's what. Yes. Drawing-ish. I am doing I'm currently waiting for parts and props to get in to paint, and I've been asked a lot to do another painting tutorial. So I took an old used up and beat up Xbox controller, and we are painting it, and it is definitely Ahsoka inspired. I just realized that I need to take that piece of tape off. Sorry. It's definitely Ahsoka inspired. What I was originally going to do was do in a whole orange and whatnot paint theme, but then I really quickly realized that the controller itself wasn't going to look good that way, just because the way it was, because it's black. It's not the pure white controller. It was a black and black and black and black controller, so it was kind of meh. Um, so what we did is we went ahead and decided to do just Ahsoka's head, or Leiku, if I'm pronouncing that right, as somebody said earlier. So that way it kind of is a cool. It's still Ahsoka themed, but it's not terrible. I used Mando Maker and added in a separate program. Yes. Okay. So Mando Maker, if you use the Mando Maker and you go ahead and switch over to like a paint program like that, then you should have no problems trying to figure stuff out from there. However, like you said, the color variants and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to choose. I had such an issue when I was trying to do my first Mando helmet, trying to figure out what theme I wanted to go with, how I wanted it to look or be represented as. It kind of, I don't want to say it kept me up at night, but I would be lying if I said I didn't. So it's one of those things, you just gotta play around with it. I will say that the best thing to do, and I do this quite often, I don't know why I didn't just say this to begin with, is I'll take a cardboard, or in some cases I have an old motorcycle helmet that I don't use, and I will take those paints and paint them next to each other. Like I will take my orange and paint it next to another orange, or a red, and see how it contrasts with each other, how the colors play off of each other. So just paint it. So like if I really wanted to, as for instance, is paint dark blue and then light blue next to it, and have them overlap to see how the colors react with it, against each other. Doing that is probably going to be the easiest way to figure out if you like a color combination. And I do that with the entire color combo. When I was doing my Ahsoka Tano, it straight up, I had a board that was every single color for the Tano spectrum, all billions of different color combinations. And I was happy as soon as I figured out that I didn't need half of the colors that I had on there. But that's what I do. I even shopped in a poncho on this. Shopped in a poncho? I don't know what that means. Shopped in a poncho on a second view. Oh, photoshopped. Maybe? Is that what you mean? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that means, shopped in a poncho. If I'm reading that wrong, I'm sorry. Photoshop, okay. I was like, what is going on here? Alright, so we got this top band, that band, that band. So we just have to do this and then we're set. And we can finish up this little doodad. Yeah, Photoshop is your friend, especially when it comes to doing stuff like this. It definitely helps broaden your horizons. It definitely helps figuring colors out, patterns out, what you want to do versus what you can do. It's Photoshop's been my friend pretty much. I use it all day, every day. That's kind of what I have to anyway, but it's definitely a really, really good tool to have, for sure. And that's what helps. But if you're doing color matching in person, definitely do the tried and true spray it on something to see if it works method. I love that method. And it makes a mess, and you make sure that whatever you're spraying it on you don't like, because it's never going to be the same again after that. But it definitely is the best method for finding your color combination in real life. Alright, it's getting there. It's getting there. I don't know if I like this up and down. I might smooth that out. Sorry guys for the tape boring tape part. Masking is probably the worst part of painting, period. It straight up is the most boring thing. If I could pay somebody to do all my masking for me, I probably would. However, I might not feel as accomplished, if that makes any sense. Oh, almost there, almost there. Yep, I think that's good. I think we can paint that. Oh, I lied. But unmasking is so satisfying. Yes, it is. I didn't say unmask. I would still do my own unmasking. But if somebody out there wants to do all my masking for me, please, please do. All right, so this is going to be the fun part. So now that we have these two halves that we are going to forcefully try to make work, I don't know how I'm going to hold this thing. I'm just going to get really messy. I've just discovered. Oh, you know what? Scratch that. Sorry if I bumped the... Yes? I'm bored today. I don't have to go to work, so... We had a shutdown, so I had to stay home. Alright, here we go. Now the fun part. Putting this all together the right way. So we'll do all our blue again, like we do all the time. We'll spray our light and then we'll edge it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I'll do it this way. You'll probably see that better. And since this is a junk controller, I'm not worried about making it perfect. So we have our light blue, pretty saturated in there. Come on, fingers. There we go. Now we'll edge with a dark. And again, I just kind of hold it off to the side so it really... Oh, so much for hands. Alright, so now that that's done its thing, now we can continue making messes. Hey look, there's something under there. Oh god, and the fun part about masking is if you do it the right way, it all peels off in one shot. But if you don't, you got a billion little pieces that peel off. And that's a massive fingerprint right in the middle of everything. What did I tell you? I'm not careful. If I were to do... so I do want to do giveaways. I do want to do stuff for the community. I'm working on getting a really big project going. I'm just waiting on a couple things to get here so I can start that project. But I definitely want to do some giveaways. I'm not sure what those giveaways are going to be. That looks like it'd be alright. I stopped counting the booms. Oh shit. I think that's gonna work. It's almost magic. Yeah, I've been trying to expand my vocabulary, my sound effect vocabulary, so it's not just limited to booms. Because until you guys all pointed it out, I didn't realize how many times I say boom, and I didn't realize it was that, like, nearly that much. Oh, look at that shit. Yeah. You ready? You ready? Boom, baby. There, are you happy? I said it. Are you happy now? Now that my hands are disgusting, my workstation is destroyed, and I have overspray on everything. It's always fun to paint outside. Paint outside, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Yeah, my ass. All right, so that's what this thing is going to kind of look like. I think. Watch, I hope I don't even put this back together. Sorry, void the warranty on this bad boy. And I'm trying to think of what else to do to this thing. Once I actually... What's up, Tiny Wars? Once I actually get this thing fully finished paint with the stripes on both sides, I'm not sure what else I should add to it. I might need help with that. I might need... Like, it's Ahsoka Tano-ish as it is, but it's not super Ahsoka-ish. I know I should do something. Mandoa. I'm gonna probably break a bunch of hearts right now, but I don't think I've ever written anything in any sort of Mandoa font ever. I wrote a bunch of things in Arabic, but never actually Mandoa. So I'm sorry. I don't know Mandoa. I'm not as cool as some people. So we get killed me. I'm sorry. I could look it up and I could learn it really quick. I guarantee it. But do I want to? We'll see. Oh, so the other thing we're going to do, before I completely forget, is our magic black, our magic spray. So this, look at that. See, there you go, magic black right on my hand. This is what I used to use, like a lot of those blaster marks and stuff that I was talking about earlier. It's definitely something that I prefer to use instead of an airbrush or instead of doing all kinds of crazy shenanigans. That's like, you get your darker tones, you get your blaster marks, you get your shadows, all that fun stuff, all with that. So I am going to do that on this to kind of give it a little something. Yeah, so I'll go and I think I talked about that earlier. So this controller that I'm practicing on originally is an all black controller, and the black on the underside and the front is like super shiny, like gloss black, and it's a different weird plastic. So I originally was gonna do the orange on top with the blue underneath is what my original plan was, and I was going to do the Ahsoka Tano forehead markings up the front of the controller here. So this was all going to be two-tone orange with the forehead markings, and the whole underside was going to be this stuff. However, with this particular controller, that wasn't going to work. So we went ahead and we're just doing her headpiece as it were, and so for this one, I might actually, so I bought an all-white controller that I might do the orange one to. And if I do that and do it well enough, I might do that as a giveaway. Ta-da! That might be cool. I might do that. I mean, it kind of sucks because it's an Xbox controller and it's only good for people who play Xbox, but you know what? Everybody else can suck it. Because that's what I'm going to paint. If I don't decide to be greedy and keep it all to myself, then that might be a cool thing to do a giveaway with. That just dawned on me. See, there you go. For all 6 of you who are in this little stream now, there you go. If I'm doing a giveaway, it's going to be an Xbox controller Ahsoka Tano painted. I know somebody out there might like that. And it's not going to be this one. This one's the junk one, so don't worry about it. This one's the junk one. So I'm going to demonstrate the black now before we end this stream and I go get lunch, a well-deserved lunch. We'll go ahead and go over this stuff. Oh yeah, where from her forehead that meets here with the spikes or the little metal spike things. That would be cool. I don't know how it would do that. It would get in the way of like actual play, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. What's for lunch? Probably fried chicken of some sort. Because I love fried chicken. They opened a Raising Cane's next to my house, and I've been there quite a bit. I'm not gonna say how much, but no way. Wash my hands before lunch? No way. This is how we get things done. We're gonna eat lunch greasy and gross. Well, I guess not greasy, just painty. But all right. So this Magic Black, I'm gonna move him because I don't want to overspray all over. Some other stuff out of the way. Not either. What I'm going to do is kind of spray along the edge, and that's going to give us a nice shadow. And you'll see with what this stuff is, it's really, really light. And I'm going to kind of aim away. I don't know how this. I don't know if you can see how it did the nice little drop shadow here. Kind of do it on this other side so you can kind of see. Boom. So, oh crap, I did it again. So it has this nice little drop shadow, so it kind of gives a nice rounded shape to it without actually having to be rounded. So if you did even have a flat piece and you add shadow tones to your edges, it makes it look more curved. So that's a nice little addition. See? Ooh, the fancy pants. And I'll do that along the whole outer edge. I was thinking about doing it on the top. Well, let's do it a little on the top side. Why not? Let me see that. Yeah, that looks cool. Yeah. I like that. I don't want to do too much. But it's just a fine, really, really gray mist. It looks a little darker in the camera than it does in my hand, but it definitely adds like a really nice grayed out, rounded, dirty look to it. Fancy kind of stuff. Bradish and fancy kind of stuff. Oh, Frontier Berea. Why'd you gotta do that? Why'd you gotta say that, Anna? Why you gotta rub it in my face, huh? Why you gotta get the Frontier like that? Do me a favor and get a cinnamon roll. Or eat a cinnamon roll for me, please. Green chili. Alright, so I think that's... Yes. This is a control, Ryan. This is the black one. So now that we have our stripes on there, now that we have some of the mist, now I explained how we do some of the texture and damage and all that fun stuff. I pretty much went over all the stuff that I normally do to things when I go to paint them. I will probably add a little bit more black wash, maybe a bit more of a texture to it once it's all together, because when you won't really know until you piece something together to have it to check out to see how it looks. But it's definitely at a good point. Like I might add a little bit more darkness on the inside of here. No, it's not the new white one, Ryan. Get out here, Ryan. Yeah, so there's that. So what I'll do is I'll paint the other side with the stripes. I'll get that all knocked out, and then I'll put it together. I'll take some photos, post them up later on. Like I said, if you guys ever have questions about paint or build or anything like that, just hit me up, just ask, because I will be more than happy to go over any specific technique that I use personally. I want to call it the poor man technique, because I'm not skilled in airbrush. I'm not skilled in a bunch of the other stuff like that, so I like to do things that are going to be easy, that I know that people can do, and get good results from, so that it helps with people who are doing cosplay for the first time, or are doing stuff that might want to get a little crazy with but aren't sure. Yeah, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to help. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream. I got everything out, knocked everything out. If we do the other controller, the white one, we do the orange and the blue underside. I will definitely go another video with that. And as soon as I get all my parts that I've been waiting for in for the actual cosplay stuff, then we'll do another paint tutorial on that, because I think the next thing I have coming is Shin Tools. Those are coming in from Boba Fett Has College Debt, and those should be here soonish. Yay, I'm glad they help, man. I really do. So as soon as I get those props in from Boba Fett College Debt and stuff, then we'll do a whole nother thing, and I'll actually go over the step-by-step. So we'll go from covering the base coat silver primer. They're not 3D props, and they're not 3D printed, so it's going to be we're going to skip the whole priming, filling step that a lot of 3D printed props have to go through, so we'll have to skip over that. But I think I am going to do a whole tutorial on actually how to fill and sand 3D printed props to make sure that they're smooth without ridiculously going overboard with having to sand, because I don't do a lot of sanding prep work for my 3D props. Like, case in point, the helmets and stuff. This one came in with all the print lines and everything in it. I don't know if you can see, it came in with print lines, because this was just kind of like a quick request helmet, so they didn't have time to finish it for me or anything like that, which is fine, because I don't mind that at all. But the prep work and stuff to make it smooth like this is actually very minimal, and a lot of people go 15 to 20 steps too deep as far as I'm concerned. So the way that I do it is going to save you a lot of time, a lot of anger, frustration, hand cramps, all that shit. So we'll definitely go over that stuff. Then as soon as I get those 3D printed parts in, and I'll keep everybody posted. But for now, that's what we did. I'm glad we were able to get show some stuff in here and show some tips and whatnot. I love my random orbital for print lines. Yeah. Depending on how steep those print lines are for the 3D printed props, it's almost too easy to just give 2 nice thick coats of filler primer. I use the gray filler primer because it dries quicker and it evens out more, and then hit it with wet sand. So wet sand it all nice and smooth, and add a 3rd coat if you need it as like a light coat, and that's it. So you don't have to do filling unless there's like really thick divots in there. You don't really have to do a whole lot of filler or anything like that. So if you're using the Maker Baked prints, if that's what you're doing, you're gonna have a lot easier time with those, because I've had some other 3D printed props that the steps were so deep that I did have to actually use the filler putty, which I hate doing. It's toxic, it's gross, and it's crazy. Bondo, I've never used Bondo for a prop ever. The reason why I don't use Bondo is because if you don't mix it properly, it doesn't dry properly, it won't harden up, so it can fall apart. If it does dry and you've done proper things to the Bondo, because it's a 3D print, it flexes, and if it flexes too much, you will get cracks. Bondo's really good for small things like little pinhole stuff like that, but it also adds a lot of weight. So I try to avoid all of that stuff. if I can. And with so far with the Maker Baked helmets specifically, I haven't had any problems like that. I haven't needed Bondo. I haven't needed a whole lot of fillers or anything like that. Just filler primer, and that's pretty much it. And that's why I like it, because it's quick and easy. Storm helmet, and I want to swap to the Maker Baked. Yep. I have a few resin helmets that I bought before I found Maker Baked, and the one thing that my complaint was immediately out of the box was, this is heavy, this is hot, because the resin or the casted helmets have so much density to them, and it just is unforgiving. So the minute you exhale in that helmet, it literally feels like you're in a freaking sauna, and I hate that. They don't have the helmet file yet for the one used on Ahsoka. The Ahsoka helmet? The one I just showed? They don't have the helmet file up? This is just their normal... I'm pretty sure this is their basic helmet. I want to say I'm 99% sure that this is the deluxe basic helmet. It is the MK6 Deluxe. So the classic Mando Deluxe. This is the classic Mando Deluxe helmet. That's what the Ahsoka Tano helmet is. So if you see the Deluxe Classic, that's what this is. It doesn't have the dent, and it doesn't have the front greebly, the arrows or the little triangles in the front. It doesn't have those. So this is just the classic one. Let's see, the file in the shop is a Django. Ooh, I don't know. Maybe hit him up and ask him for the deluxe one. I'm not sure. I've never bought a 5-print file from them because I don't have a 3D printer, but that might be something to talk to them about, to ask them if they are ever going to do this as a print file, because this is like an easier helmet to print than the Django one, because the Django one's got these ridges that go through, and I think they're different ear caps maybe. I'm not sure. I have no idea, but I know this is the classic. What do they call it? MK6 Classic Mando Deluxe. So that's this one. I've asked when they finalize it. Oh, okay. They might have plans to put them up. I know they're extremely busy. It's just like, it's just 2 of them. They're doing this whole production line, and me constantly telling people to go buy stuff from them probably isn't helping. It's just making them more busy, and I feel bad for that, but I definitely think people should know. When there's good stuff, I think people should know. Hands down. What are the helmets you use, by the way? I didn't catch the name. It's a Maker Baked, but the ED is at the end is, I think, 3D. Right? Is that how it's Maker Baked 3D? Yeah, so Maker Baked, and then it's, instead of ED, it's 3D, or a backwards E and a D. That's what that is. But anyway, all right, yes, there you go. Thanks for putting that up there. So thanks for coming down. I appreciate you guys asking all the questions. I like being able to answer stuff and help out people like that. I will go ahead and finish this up off camera, and then I will take some pictures when I put it back together so it doesn't just look like an Xbox controller shell. And then you'll be able to see it on there. Hopefully it's not going to be as gross looking as my hands are right now. Anyway. All right, you guys, I will talk to you later. Have a beautiful day for those who it is still daytime. And I will try and post more stuff up soon. I love you guys. Aloha. Have a good day.